My child.
You earned my respect, and before this video ends, you will understand exactly why. 5 days ago, you made a decision, small, almost invisible, that caught my attention. What you don't realize yet is that your action has already helped people in ways far greater than you can imagine. I need you to hear this carefully. I am always watching over you, not to judge you, not to wait for you to fail, but like a father watching a child grow. Most people think faith is proven in big, dramatic moments. But the truth is far more unsettling. The weight of obedience in the smallest moments is greater than you've ever been told. Because it's in the quiet decisions, the ones made when no one is watching, that the loudest declarations of faith are made. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you may realize that this message was never meant for anyone else but you. When you acted 5 days ago, you thought what you did was ordinary. You looked at the situation with natural eyes and saw something mundane, perhaps even insignificant or forgettable. You went about your day, likely not giving it a second thought, assuming it was just another part of the routine, just another blip on the radar of a busy week. But I tell you, my child, nothing done in genuine obedience to me is ever small. When you move in alignment with my spirit, you are tapping into a reality far greater than the physical world around you. Heaven recorded it. Angels took note of it. The moment you decided to act, the atmosphere shifted, and the ripples of that one act traveled farther than your eyes could see. You remember the hesitation, do you not? You were tempted to stay silent. You were tempted to delay, to push the thought aside and rationalize that it wasn't the right time or the right place. You were tempted to say, someone else will do it, or, does this really matter in the grand scheme of things? The enemy of your soul loves to whisper that your contribution is unnecessary, hoping to keep you paralyzed in passivity. He wants you to believe that if it isn't a grand gesture, it isn't worth doing. Yet, despite that internal resistance, despite the friction of your own fatigue or doubt, you moved anyway. You stepped past the barrier of your own comfort and chose to engage. This is precisely why you earned my respect. You did not move because you felt strong, capable, or fearless in that moment. You moved because you were willing. And willingness, my child, when placed in my hands, becomes absolute power. Too many of my children wait until they feel perfect or until the conditions are flawless before they obey. But you responded in the middle of imperfection. You responded when it would have been easier, so much easier, to simply do nothing and let the moment pass. Hear me clearly now. I am not impressed by noise. I am not moved by performance, by the size of a platform, or by the thunder of applause. I do not measure greatness the way the world measures it, with metrics of visibility, likes, and fame. I look at the heart that trembles at my word. I look for the heart that obeys even when it does not fully understand the outcome. The world chases the spotlight, but I am chasing the surrendered heart. 5 days ago, when no crowd was watching and no accolades were waiting, you chose truth over comfort. That specific choice, which felt lonely and perhaps even awkward at the time, actually opened a door for others who were on the brink of giving up. You could not see them, but they were there, connected to your timeline by the invisible threads of my providence. There were people connected to your obedience who were tired, confused, and silently screaming out, asking me if I was still near. They were navigating a darkness that felt overwhelming, and they did not need a sermon. They did not need a theological explanation or a cliché. They needed a sign. They needed a tangible, breathing proof that I still speak, that I still care, and that I still intervene in the affairs of men. Without realizing it, you became that sign. You became the evidence they were desperate for. It wasn't because you are the source of the light, but because you allowed yourself to be the vessel through which the light could pass. By simply doing what you felt nudged to do, you validated the hope they were struggling to hold on to. You showed them that integrity still exists, that kindness hasn't gone extinct, and that my spirit is still active in the earth. This is a mystery of the kingdom, Your obedience is rarely just about you. It is a key that unlocks freedom for someone else. When you chose to speak or to act or to stand your ground 5 days ago, you were fighting a battle for a stranger. You were holding up a shield for a weary soul you may never meet on this side of eternity. That is the weight of what you carried. That is the dignity of the choice you made. You may have felt clumsy or uncertain, but from my perspective, you were moving with the grace of a faithful servant. You saw a need, or you felt a check in your spirit, and you didn't ignore it. You didn't harden your heart, you kept it soft enough to be guided, and that tenderness is precious to me. My child, I need you to understand something deeply about the season you are walking through and the specific way I'm leading you. I am raising you in discernment, not in impulse. There is a vast difference between the two, though to the untrained eye, they can often look the same. Impulse is a reaction to the external pressure of the moment. It moves because it feels urgent, because it feels threatened, or because the silence feels uncomfortable. Discernment, however, is a response to the internal witness of my spirit. It moves only when I say move. That is why I often slow you down when everything in you wants to rush forward to fix a situation. And it is why I stir you up to act when your natural inclination is to remain still and safe. I am teaching you the rhythm of the kingdom. I am training you how to move when I move and, just as importantly, how to stop instantly when I stop. Many desire the display of my power. They want the miracles and the breakthroughs. But few are willing to submit to the discipline of my timing. You are learning this, sometimes through frustration and sometimes through grace, and it pleases me. You are beginning to understand that doing the right thing at the wrong time is still disobedience. You are learning to wait for the go signal, even when the world is screaming at you to hurry. However, I must tell you this so you are not caught off guard. Do not be surprised if resistance increases after this moment of obedience. Respect in my kingdom often attracts opposition in the natural realm. It is a spiritual law that you must become wise to. When darkness realizes that light is willing to show up, not just in theory, but in tangible action, it reacts. It tries to intimidate, distract, or exhaust the bearer of that light. The enemy is not worried about a dormant believer. He is worried about an obedient one. Because you stood up 5 days ago, because you chose to act, you may feel a sudden wave of fatigue, a swirl of discouraging thoughts, or unexpected friction in relationships that are usually peaceful. But I say to you, do not fear this. You are not exposed. You are not walking onto the battlefield without armor. You are covered. You are not walking alone. I walk ahead of you to clear the path and behind you to guard your steps. This resistance is not a sign that you have stepped out of my will. Often, it is the strongest confirmation that you are walking directly in the center of it. If you were not a threat to the darkness, it would not be trying so hard to discourage you. I have been watching closely how you handle being misunderstood, specifically in these last few weeks. This is one of the hardest tests for the human heart. To be right, to have pure intentions, and yet to be painted in a false light. I saw the accusations that were unfair. I saw the assumptions people made about your motives that were completely untrue. The old you would have lashed out. The old you would have drafted the text, made the call, and set the record straight with sharp words and receipts to prove your innocence. You felt that fire rise up in your chest, that desperate need to vindicate yourself. But I have seen how you kept quiet when you could have defended yourself. I have seen how you chose prayer over retaliation and reflection over reaction. You took that pain to the secret place instead of venting it to the public. You must know that these moments are not wasted battles. They feel like unnecessary suffering to you, like you are just taking it. But to me, they are high-level trainings. I am building a spiritual stamina in you that cannot be formed in comfort. What I am preparing you for requires restraint as much as it requires boldness. It requires the strength to remain silent as much as the courage to speak. If you cannot remain silent when your reputation is attacked by a few, You will be too easily manipulated by the praise or criticism of the many. I am severing that puppet string. I am teaching you that your vindication comes from me, not from the changing opinions of people. This training is crucial because where I am taking you, the stakes are higher. You will need to know without a shadow of a doubt the difference between a door I have opened and a trap the enemy has set to distract you. That distinction is only found through a quiet, discerning spirit. So, when the pressure mounts, do not panic. Do not interpret the struggle as my absence. Recognize it as the friction of growth. You are building muscle. You are learning to stand firm not because the ground is easy, but because your foundation is sure. I am protecting you from battles that are not yours to fight, so that you have the energy for the ones that actually matter. Trust this covering. Trust that when I hold you back, it is protection, and when I push you forward, it is provision. You are becoming a warrior who does not swing wildly at every shadow, but strikes with precision only when the commander speaks. This is the path of maturity, and you are walking it better than you realize. You've asked me why the road has felt so narrow lately, why the options seem fewer and the path more restricted. It is because I am refining your focus. I am removing unnecessary weight, unnecessary voices, and unnecessary attachments that, while perhaps not evil, are heavy. You are in a season of divine pruning. I am stripping away the excess so that what remains can bear true, lasting fruit. You must understand that not everything leaving your life is a loss. In fact, much of it is a deliverance you did not know you needed. Some things, and some people, are leaving because they simply cannot go where I am taking you. Their capacity is for the previous season, not the next one. If you try to drag them along out of sentimentality or fear of being alone, they will become an anchor that keeps you from sailing into the deep waters of your calling. Trust me in this pruning. I cut with absolute precision, never with cruelty. I know exactly what needs to be removed to ensure your health and your growth. A gardener does not cut a branch to hurt the tree. He cuts it so the tree can survive winter and flourish in the spring. My child, there are moments ahead when you will be tempted to doubt whether this level of obedience is worth it. You will look around and see others taking shortcuts, compromising their integrity and appearing to succeed. You will wonder if your commitment to the hard way is foolishness. In those moments, I need you to remember this truth. One obedient act can rescue someone you will never meet. One surrendered choice can interrupt a toxic cycle that has lasted 4 generations in your bloodline. You are not just living for yourself. You are breaking ground for those who will come after you. You do not always see the harvest immediately. We live in a world addicted to instant results, but my kingdom operates on the laws of sowing and reaping. Just because you do not see the sprout the day after you plant the seed, does not mean the seed is not working beneath the surface. It is cracking open, it is taking root, and it is pushing through the dark soil. Your obedience is never dormant. It is always active, always working, even while you sleep. I am also calling you into greater responsibility. You have shown yourself faithful with a little, and now the scale is shifting. Respect brings assignment. Favor brings stewardship. What I'm about to entrust to you is not just a blessing to be enjoyed. It is a burden to be carried. It will require humility to carry it without stumbling and courage to release it when the time is right. This new assignment isn't just about your comfort, it's about your contribution to the kingdom. Guard your heart ferociously from pride and your mind from fear. These are the twin enemies of your destiny. Pride will tell you that you achieved this on your own, that you are superior to those around you. Fear will tell you that you are an imposter, that you are about to be exposed, and that you should shrink back. Both are lies. Both can distort what I'm about to do through you. You are entering a season where discernment will matter more than excitement. Excitement fades when the feelings leave. Discernment remains when the pressure hits. Not every open door is for me. This is a lesson you must learn quickly. The enemy can open doors too, trapdoors designed to look like opportunities. They will appeal to your ego, your wallet, or your desire for fame. Not every opportunity is an assignment, Just because you can do something does not mean you should do it. Learn to ask me before you move. Do not just look at the contract, look at the spirit behind it. Do not just look at the pay, look at the peace. And learn to wait for my peace, not just logical confirmation. Logic has its place, but it is limited to human understanding. My peace passes understanding. It acts as a referee in your heart, signaling when to proceed and when to pause. If the logic makes sense but your spirit is unsettled, wait. I will never rush you into confusion. Confusion is not my language. My voice brings clarity even when the path ahead is challenging. If you are frantic, if you feel a driving, anxious need to decide right now, step back. That urgency is often a sign of the enemy's pressure, not my leading. I am preparing you to handle weight, the weight of glory, the weight of influence, the weight of being a trusted servant. If I gave it to you before you were pruned, it would crush you. But now, as you let go of the unnecessary, you are becoming lighter, yet stronger. You are becoming a vessel that can hold the new wine without bursting. Walk this narrow road with your head high, not because you are perfect, but because you are chosen. The restriction you feel is not punishment. It is the focused tension of an arrow being pulled back on the bowstring, preparing to fly further than it ever could on its own. I know you sometimes feel unseen. I know you sometimes wonder if your efforts truly matter, or if the silence is a sign that your prayers are hitting a ceiling. You look at the tangible results in the physical world, and when they don't match the labor of your soul, you question the validity of your path. Let me answer that doubt right now, so there's no room for it to breathe. I see you fully. I see the private prayers you whisper when you are too exhausted to form complete sentences. I see the silent tears that fall when you think you are alone in your room. I see the questions you wrestle with but never voice aloud because you don't want to burden others or appear weak. I am closer than you think, and I am far more involved in the details of your life than you realize. I am not distant, and I am certainly not indifferent to your struggle. There are people watching your life who will never read a page of scripture, but they will read your obedience. They are reading your patience when things go wrong. They are reading how you respond under pressure when the plans fall apart. This is why integrity matters so much in this hour. The world is loud with opinions, screaming for attention, but it is starving for authenticity. It is desperate to see someone whose life matches their words. Be what I have called you to be, even when it costs you comfort, and even when it feels like no one is clapping. Do not carry yesterday's failures into tomorrow's assignments. I have already dealt with what you have repented of. Stop revisiting what I have forgiven. When I correct you, it is to align you, not to condemn you. You must learn to distinguish between the voice of the accuser and the voice of your Father. Shame does not come from me. Shame says you are a mistake. Conviction says you made a mistake and shows you the way back. Conviction draws you closer to my heart, seeking restoration. Shame pushes you away, driving you into hiding. Learn to tell the difference, my child, because one leads to life and the other to paralysis. I am sharpening your spiritual hearing in this season. You will begin to sense when something is not right, even before you have the evidence to prove it. You will walk into a room or join a conversation and feel a check in your spirit, a hesitation you cannot explain logically. Do not ignore that nudge. That is my spirit guiding you, alerting you to hidden agendas or spiritual pitfalls. However, you must walk a fine line here. Do not let suspicion replace love. Discernment must always walk hand in hand with compassion. Otherwise, it quickly becomes judgment. You can see a flaw in someone and still love them. You can recognize a trap and still pray for the one setting it. I am also healing your understanding of trust. I know you carry scars from times when you opened your heart and were met with betrayal. Some wounds came not because you were foolish or trusted too much, but because others misused the gift of your vulnerability. You gave them gold, and they treated it like dust. Because of this, you have built walls. You have vowed to never let anyone get that close again. but I am restoring your ability to trust me without permanently closing your heart to people. Wisdom will now guard what vulnerability once exposed. You are learning to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You do not have to give everyone access to the deepest parts of your soul. That is a privilege, not a right. You are learning that while you are called to love everyone, you are not called to trust everyone with the weight of your destiny. This is not bitterness. It is boundaries. It is the stewardship of your heart. As this internal work takes place, you will notice that the external world begins to look different. You will notice that conversations around you are changing. The gossip that used to entertain you will now grate on your spirit. The superficial complaints that used to fill your time will feel draining. Interest will shift. Desires will realign. You might feel a disconnect from circles you once fit into perfectly. Do not panic. This is not you losing yourself. This is you becoming who you were always meant to be. The old patterns are falling away like dead skin to make room for the new. Do not resist the change. Flow with me. I am not taking anything from you that you actually need for this next level. I am making room for what you cannot yet imagine. Relationships that are covenantal, not just convenient. Conversations that birth vision, not just kill time. There will be moments ahead when obedience will again feel costly. When it does, remember that my rewards are not always immediate, but they are always complete. I do not pay wages the way the world does at the end of the week or the month. I invest eternally. What you do in faith echoes beyond time. You are not late, you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. Stop comparing your pace to others who seem to be running faster. I write different stories at different speeds. Your journey requires depth, and depth takes time. Shallow roots grow fast, but they wither in the scorching sun. I am growing oaks, not weeds. Listen carefully now, for the days ahead will require calm hearts and steady minds. Fear will try to speak loudly through your circumstances, through the news cycle, and through the anxious opinions of those who do not know me. It will try to convince you that the ground is crumbling. Anchor yourself in my presence. Do not let external noise drown out internal truth. I am your refuge, not your escape hatch. I am not here just to pluck you out of trouble, but to sustain you through it. I am also reminding you to rest. Obedience does not mean exhaustion. Trust includes knowing when to pause. I did not create you to burn out. I created you to burn bright. There is a holy rhythm to work and rest. And when you violate it, you are not being a martyr. You are being a poor steward of the body I gave you. Let me restore your strength. Let me quiet your thoughts. You do not have to carry everything at once. My child, you earned my respect because you listened when it mattered. Continue to listen. Continue to walk humbly. Continue to choose truth even when it is inconvenient. I am with you on this path, and what I am building through your obedience will outlast this season, this moment, and even this lifetime. I need you to understand this clearly, because the misunderstanding of this truth has caused many to stumble, to grow weary, and to retreat into fear when they were called to advance. I am not watching you the way the world watches. I am not standing over you with suspicion, waiting for you to fail, counting your mistakes on a scorecard, or looking for reasons to withdraw my hand. That idea did not come from me. That idea was planted to distort how you see me. Because once your view of me is twisted, your obedience becomes strained, and your love becomes fearful. I do not watch you as a judge looking for faults to prosecute. I see you as a father who knows your frame, who understands your weakness, who remembers that you are dust, yet calls you chosen. I see your intentions before your actions. I see your tears before your words. I see your battles before your breakthroughs. When you forget this, you hesitate. You pause when you should move. You doubt when you should act. You silence yourself when I am urging you to speak life. Many have stopped doing good not because they lack compassion, but because they believe they are being measured rather than guided. They think every step is under a microscope, every flaw magnified, every delay condemned. But I tell you now, my watching is not surveillance. It is presence. It is nearness. It is care. I am not behind you with an accusation. I am beside you with counsel. When I say I see you, it is not a threat, it is an assurance. It means you are never unseen in your kindness, never unnoticed in your faithfulness, never forgotten in your sacrifice. Even when no one thanks you, even when your efforts seem to vanish into silence, I see. And because I see, nothing done in love is ever wasted. This is why you must never hesitate to do good. Hesitation often comes from the fear of being misunderstood, rejected, or unappreciated. But when you act from love, your audience is not people. It is me. I am the one who weighs the heart, not the outcome. I am the one who multiplies what you release, even when you think it was too small to matter. Understand this deeply. Goodness is not about visibility, it is about alignment. When you do good, you are aligning with my nature. You are agreeing with my heart. You are becoming a living expression of who I am in a world that has forgotten what love looks like. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of restraint when anger wanted to speak, all of it carries my signature when it is done in obedience. There are people around you who are watching not to criticize, but to find hope. They may never say it, but your willingness to do good gives them permission to believe again. When you motivate others, you are not lifting yourself above them. You are extending a hand so they can rise with you. Never underestimate the power of one obedient voice reminding another soul that light still exists. I know there are times when you wonder if motivating others is worth the resistance it brings. You speak truth, and some turn away. You encourage faith, and some mock. You choose integrity, and some misunderstand. But hear me, resistance does not mean you are wrong. Often, it means you are effective. Darkness does not argue with darkness. It reacts to light. Do not shrink your obedience to avoid discomfort. Comfort was never the measure of calling. Love often requires courage, and courage often feels lonely before it feels fruitful. But I do not abandon those who step forward in faith. I walk with them, I strengthen them, I sustain them. You must also remember this. Good works are not about earning my favor. You already have my love. You already have my grace. You do good because you are loved, not to be loved. When this order is reversed, you grow tired. When it is correct, you grow strong. Many have burned out trying to impress me, forgetting that I am already pleased with a surrendered heart. I am not asking you to strive, I am asking you to respond. Respond to the nudge. Respond to the opportunity. Respond to the moment when you can choose kindness instead of indifference. Remember my word. The Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Let that awareness free you to love boldly, to give generously, to speak truth gently, and to act faithfully. This is how light spreads. This is how hope survives. This is how my heart is revealed through yours. And remember this always. When you move in love, you are never alone. I am with you, working through you, and shaping the world one obedient act at a time.